On.
What's poppin', brother?
Just want to chat and check in because I know we chatted yesterday, but I want to make sure, obviously, you got everything you needed to out of that meeting yesterday and whatnot. And if there's anything that you didn't get out of that meeting that you want to,
Yeah.
then let's talk about it. What's going through your mind? Like, was that a good meeting for you in your opinion? Because I thought it went well.
Yeah, I think it went well. Yeah, like I'm still pretty set on what was the plan.
Okay.
Like I think if anything ever wavered, it would just be the potential of you putting me up in the future.
Right.
Like in the future.
Right.
That'd be like my only ever fleeting thought.
Right.
Which I don't think you would. Like
honestly, I wouldn't, because if I wanted to, like, I probably could have just told her, put Jed up and like let's backdoor him.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't want you on the block because in case anybody else thought like, okay, like let's get this physical threat out, like, because like I think you and I are boys. I would look out for you. I'd look out for Ty. I'd look out for Stu. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, even though it's not like, you know, an official like PB 2.0, I think like from the get go, that was my line of thinking.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about that because it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
If that's your only like thing that's making you waver.
Yeah. That
But-
would be my only thing. Like, I just didn't know if that was your thought, like your line of thought.
Right.
I know it was assumed that we were like a 4.
Right.
But obviously, like, we never really like set it in stone or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And I didn't want to like assume that you would like put me or Ty up or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So like, if you were to win HOH, like, where would your head be at? Do you think?
For the other team,
Yeah.
honestly, I'd probably just do, like, I'd ask Ty what he wanted to do, to be honest, because, like, in the end, it's, like, what makes his team stronger if it's still in teams. So, like, I'd probably just say, like, Ty what do you want to do and go from there.
Okay.
Because it basically, if we look back on the last 2 weeks, like, he's done and their team has done basically what we've wanted to do, like with Julie and now with Josh. So that, obviously, those two would make our team stronger if we have to get rid of 2 people on our team. So if it's going to put Ty in a better position to get rid of someone on his team that he thinks is bringing them down, I'd probably go to him first and be like, who do you want on the block? Because that's what they did for us, right? We went through the first 2 Ls.
Would you have any reservations about anyone on that team, other than obviously Ty and Stu?
About not putting them up? Probably not. I'd probably be pretty open after Ty and Stu and see like what Ty wanted to do. If you guys are close to Beth, then that's fine with me too. I talked to Beth this morning and I felt pretty good about our conversation. So, because we've had like personal conversations like Beth and I, but we haven't really talked game until this morning.
Right.
So we had a good chat this morning. She reassured me of everything. So I probably wouldn't put her up either. Okay. And I know she's close for you guys. And if that helps you guys in this game, then it helps me in this game, right? Because if we're close and you guys are close, then that helps everybody.
Right.
Other than that, like anybody's fair game, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think, like, when it comes to Josh?
Yeah.
Like, obviously I know like the cons and the like whatever, but like what do you think like stands out as like the main reason he shouldn't be here? You know what I mean?
Right.
Just so like I can hear from your point of view.
Well, I think the main reason, like from your perspective, why he shouldn't be here is because I think if he wins HOH, for example, like this week, tomorrow, then I think he puts up a combination of Austin, Beth, and Ty, one of those 3. So I think he either has Ty and Beth, Ty and Austin, or Austin and Beth. Because I don't think he puts up Kyle, because he always, I think what he's trying to do is he wants to get closer to Kyle, because that was his like original relationship in this house, and that's why he created Pretty Boys 2.0.
Right. And
that's why he like goes to Kyle and he says like, I'm never gonna like drag your name and I'm not gonna create an alliance with you in it, but he does that anyway. But if you're asking me honestly, I genuinely think Josh does not put up Kyle on the block.
Okay.
I'm pretty set that wouldn't happen, just based on like what's happened, what's transpired. I also don't think he goes for Tina and Tara, because Tina and Tara have been like comforting him, checking in on him, and doing all that. Whereas a lot of other people have done that as well, but like maybe not as much. And you know, they're kind of like the older generation, so they kind of recognize like people need to be checked on a little bit more.
Right.
And
just need my water bottle. I'm so sorry.
oh yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I don't even know if it's in here.
I don't even think it
I
is.
haven't seen it. I was bumping tunes.
Okay. Sorry.
So
good job. Way to go. Thank you. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
So that's where my mind leads. There's a chance he puts up Vic, but I think less of a chance, because if he's like creating all this chaos right now, like with Austin, with me, with you, to like get out this big target, then obviously he can't nominate you if we're still in teams. If we're not in teams, I think he puts you on the block or he tries to get you out, and probably less so Ty. But I think it would be like a combination in that case if no teams. I think it would be a combination of you, Beth, and Austin.
Right.
Instead of Ty in that equation.
Right. Okay.
But because Ty is like the best physical option for him on the other side, and he's not going to put up Kyle, that's genuinely what I think. And I told Ty that too. I told Ty, I was like, if you keep Josh in this game, there's more of a chance he's going to put you up than I'm going to put you up.
Right.
And I told Ty, like, I'm not going to put you up, and I'm not going to put you as a replacement nominee.
Okay. Yeah, because that's literally my only concern in this entire situation.
Yeah.
Is when I look at the two people on the block, who is more likely to put me up?
Right.
And obviously, I know Josh will.
Yeah.
If he has the chance, but I don't think he even has a chance because like I don't think he'll win HOH.
Right.
So it's literally just confirming that you wouldn't. And like I know that we're boys and everything, but like on a game level, I'm not too sure like if that's something that you would do or not.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'd be very happy to know that you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I think that we can obviously support the boys and go pretty deep.
100%. It's a reasonable concern, right? 'Cause at the end of the day, this is a game.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to have this conversation with you to make sure you got everything you needed to out of yesterday, to know that it's not going to happen. And if I wanted it to happen, then I could have made
you could have
more
pushed for more.
This, happen,
right.
Because honestly, like the opportunity was perfect. If Austin and I were working together in this hypothetical world, and I wanted you on the block, then I could have asked her to put you on the block, but I didn't even mention your name. Didn't even come out of my mouth.
Right.
You were talking about us two as options because we were realistically the only two options.
Right.
But I said, put me up and let me just warm the seat. Let me take one for the team. Don't put Jed up on the block because he's probably more likely to go home.
Right.
So that to me is showing you hopefully that I would take a bullet, and like if I wanted to, I probably could have in that situation, but I didn't. So I wouldn't do it going forward. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Because honestly, I see you and I more of a compliment to each other than being threats to each other in this game. And if I take you out, then I immediately become a bigger target in this game, which is not good for me, and probably vice versa as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that it honestly wouldn't be that good for me.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, obviously, just like when Josh was like doing his shit and like talking whatever.
Yeah.
I was just concerned that the only reason I wasn't an option to go on the block was just because like they didn't, like you guys didn't have the numbers, and that was my only concern.
Right.
Because I know that if I was on the block, I probably wouldn't go home at this point just because of the numbers. So it's just like for me, it's just thinking down the line if there theoretically is the numbers, would that be an option for you? You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, only one winner in this game. You have to. Everyone has to go at some point, but obviously not sooner than later. You know, like that's what I'm going for.
For sure.
But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that like the only reason you didn't say my name wasn't because of our relationship, but it was because of the numbers.
Right.
You know. So like, if you're reiterating to me that it was literally because of you actually had my best interest in mind. Yeah. Then that goes a long way.
That's definitely the point. Like I want to communicate because it was more so a best interest thing. Because I think in the conversation when we talked about it, it was basically it came down to if Jed goes up on the block, then there's more likely to be people that would turn on him. Right. Because if you look at perhaps like the Tinas and Taras and the Vics and everybody else in the house that hasn't really been like that present yet, they could look at you on the block and see like, okay, like there's this big physical threat. He held up 5 buckets of sludge on that platform and he's got a great social game and we could take him out. And Austin and I agreed on that point, on those points. So that's why it wasn't in our best interest for you to go up because there was more of a likelihood that you would actually go home. Right. You know what I mean? Right, 100%. So it's not because we didn't have the numbers in that situation because honestly probably could have had the numbers. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And I was just like, anyone sees that kind of like, it's like a temptation. Yeah. Like why not just take it? Well, exactly. You know? Yeah. Like if there's I completely agree. If I was on the block, I think it'd be so easy to swing the house. Yeah. Even though I have good relationships, but at the same time, it's like I see this guy, he'll probably beat me at some point. Right. Let's just get him out. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I was very appreciative of you taking that hit. Yeah. Yeah, I think that goes a long way with me. Yeah. When it goes with trust and stuff. Sure. So, yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah. Like we haven't talked a lot about it, but one of the things that I'm big on is loyalty. And like obviously we didn't establish like this Pretty Boys 2.0 thing. It was like created by Josh, but obviously it kind of brought us closer together just because of the whole situation. And for me, if you and I like look out for Ty and Kyle and vice versa in the team scenario, obviously, and then when it doesn't happen anymore, then for each other, then I think we could go a long way in this game. Right. And so for me, it wouldn't be in my best interest to put you on the block or take you out or vote against you at this point. Or even like at any point in the near future. but like that's where my line of thinking is right now.
Okay.
Just hopefully if that gives you any comfort at mine.
Right. And then my only other thing would be like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think about like, say it's team still, and
Yeah.
like, say Kyle wins HOH.
Right.
Like, what would he do?
I don't know.
You
I haven't
know?
really talked to him about
Yeah,
it. to be
I'm just like,
honest.
I'm worrying about.
Have you talked to him? Have you asked him?
Like I've talked to him about it, and it's
Yeah.
just like, I don't really know where he would go with it, just because
Right.
we give such little numbers.
Yeah, we get 5.
And then like if he is staying truth to us,
Right.
that's 2, and then there's 3, right?
Yeah, it would, in my opinion, it would probably be the other 3.
Yeah.
Like if I were to guess, I would say that he puts up probably not Kiefer. I say he puts up probably Latoya and Braden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if one of them takes themselves down.
Then Kiefer would go up as replacement nom. Because I know he doesn't necessarily have a close relationship with either of those 3,
All right.
but he does with us too. So,
Right.
and even in that situation, like obviously, like him and I are very close. Obviously, you and Ty are very close. So it's like we have these 2 sums within this 4-sum. So like I can always be in his year, and vice versa if Ty wins as well, right?
Right.
Because Ty could always win HOH too.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, like if Ty wins, you're not going up on the block. If Kyle wins, I'm not going up on the block. But we can stay in each other's ears and look out for each other.
Right.
And there's 3 other options for us on our team.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be us. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, it doesn't have to be us.
Yeah.
I think ideally our team wins, but
Ideally, I think so as well because, like, I mean, there's some pretty, like, I know there's not like an obvious target anymore, but like there's still things that we could do that isn't one of the 4 of us, or even if Beth, if you want to keep her close to you guys, then I'm fine with that too. Because I don't like, I had a good conversation with Beth this morning, and she basically like reassured me that she'd be voting to evict Josh and that things are pretty unanimous at that point. This is at maybe like 11 o'clock this morning.
right.
I feel like it's still the same right now. It still feels pretty unanimous at this point. So, I mean, like, I wanted to talk to you just to make sure that you got everything out of that meeting yesterday to understand what Josh is doing and, like, why it could affect your game. And that hopefully you understand that I have not just my best interest in mind, but the boys, and that includes you, of course.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah, and that's like literally all I wanted to clear
Yeah.
up. If there was any shadow of doubt, it was
Yeah.
just that. It was just literally that.
Okay.
Just making sure that moving forward, like we had each other's best interests in mind.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just going to be like next week if you had the chance, like backdoor me.
Yeah, for
kind
sure.
of thing. You know what
For
I'm saying?
sure. Yeah.
Because like I don't know. I do think Josh would do that. So like.
Yeah, well, I think he puts up a combination of Ty, Beth,
Yeah.
and Austin, to
and
be
that's
honest.
bad
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like I can't have that happen.
Yeah.
So I don't, and I know he's just such a wild card, and he said he wants to make all these big moves, and he wants to
Yeah.
make a big scene tomorrow at the eviction and all this
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
like that. So it's just like,
Oh, he said that?
yeah, he's like, I want to make an iconic speech, like blah blah blah. So I'm like if you're just all about these moves and stuff, like and making good TV, like that's what he keeps saying.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna be on the right side of that because I think I'm
Yeah.
involved in those moves.
Yeah.
So
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
The one thing I don't want to happen is like Josh stays in this game and he takes out one of, obviously like in that scenario I wouldn't be here because I would be gone. But like I don't want Josh to stay in this game and end up taking out the boys.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, that looks really fucking shitty.
Yeah.
'Cause I think
then
we knew.
technically he literally like made our alliance Pretty Boy 2.0 and then took us out. Like what the hell?
Exactly. And that would be like, what he wants to do is create organized chaos in this game, but he's just created chaos.
Right.
And he wants to make like these big ass moves, and he goes up to Austin and he tosses out your name, he tosses out Latoya's name as like this big option for this week. So like, who's to say, even if he's not HOH next week, that he won't do that next week as well.
Right.
And try to get like, if they win, like obviously you on the block instead of him.
Right. Yeah.
And
I
at
think
that point,
it's never ending.
At that point, he becomes like this kid that can just survive the block, and anyone against him isn't really safe.
Exactly. And that's what I was thinking too. Like if another person goes home beside him, then he is not the shield that people think he is.
Yeah.
Because he is staying against these people that aren't targets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, at what point do you just stop putting him up and start putting up 2 strong people?
Yeah.
Because you can ensure that one of them goes home.
Exactly.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't really feel comfortable with him sitting on the block beside him anymore if you go home.
Exactly.
Because that means anyone can go home again. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
So-
if you sit on the block against him next week, hypothetically, I mean, there's a big chance you go home.
Exactly.
Whereas if you sit up on the block, for example, against me, then there's a better chance that you stay, I think.
Right.
And I think he's like making everybody try to think it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Where like if you're sitting up next to him, then he's going home for sure.
That's
but
what
then
he's
it's
doing.
like boom, he just survived 2 weeks,
what he's
and
doing.
now he's like this person who's just causing chaos, but isn't really doing much in the game.
Right.
And you're a massive threat against him, physically, and you're more likely to go home in that scenario. I think.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's because that is what he's pitching.
Yeah.
Like I can always be like like a a target. I can always be this and that.
Yeah.
But you aren't the target anymore when people are going home beside you left and right.
Exactly.
Yeah, like that. You are the stronger player technically.
Yeah, he honestly becomes like this pawn star, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like he was the target, then he turns into this pawn, and like people originally I think they were feeling safe next to him aren't going to feel safe next to him anymore, and then he moves his way through this game, and now he's got a case to win the game if he gets there, right?
Exactly.
And that's what I don't want to happen. Like, you can win this game, I can win this game. I would be happy with either one of those two scenarios.
Same.
If Josh goes on to win this game, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
I just would not want that to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, and also I wanted to ask, like what would you try to do? Like, if you won HOH next week, who do you think like you'd throw up on that side if it was still teams?
If it was still teams. I mean, I wouldn't. Okay, I'm just trying to think about who's on that team.
Yeah.
So
Well, we can take Ty and Beth out.
Yeah, Ty and Beth.
Yeah.
Wouldn't put Austin. Wouldn't put Kyle.
Stu, yeah.
So it would have to be between Vic, Tina, and Tara.
So I think we're on the same page then,
Yeah.
right? Because that's ideal. Like, if I were to go and ask Tashawn what he wanted to do, he would probably give those three names, right?
Yeah, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not too sure what they're saying. So
Yeah.
I just can't. I wouldn't touch those other four. So
Right.
that it's just like pretty much your hand is forced at that point.
Yeah.
If it's teams,
Yeah.
you only have so many options.
Exactly.
And I'm not putting up the people that we've built relationships with.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Because I know that they wouldn't put us up.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure makes
consensus-wise?
sense. I think like that's exactly what I was thinking when I
Yeah.
asked you the question. So,
Yeah.
and that's probably like what if I were to go and ask Ty what he wanted to do. I'm assuming he'd say something similar,
I think he'd say the same
like
thing.
a combination of those three.
Yeah, if you asked him what you'd want us to do as a team, I
Yeah.
think that's the best bet.
Okay.
Because I mean, Austin easily could have just backdoored me, didn't.
Yeah.
I can't throw her on the block.
Right.
We've been working with Ty obviously, and then and Beth's been close, and then we've been working with Kyle. So I don't think there's any other options.
All right.
But yeah, definitely cleared that up. Yeah.
Sweet.
Want to make sure we were
Cool.
solid moving forward.
Yeah. I don't really have any other like close ties in this game. Like I have like decent relationships, but I don't have any like close ties. That's why like I don't want to like leave this in the dust, this PB 2.0 thing. Like, let's look out for the boys and like see what we can do. I obviously, like you said, somebody's got to win this game in the end. It's only one person, but like we can get to that point and then duke it out.
Yeah,
That's
like you
ideally-
don't get to the end without
exactly.
like these relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want someone that has that potential to like just blow up.
Yeah.
And just it's just such a wild card that it's just scary.
Yeah.
And just seeing his ability to get in people's heads and make them think things.
Right.
It's very dangerous, I think.
Well, I think that's what he's trying to do, right? And I know he's been like pretty much lounging all day.
Yeah, he's in the room.
Just like chilling. He hasn't had any conversations with people, which is a little weird. So I think what he's going to try to do is, because of what happened yesterday in like the house meeting, and obviously like he talked to two people compared notes, and then it all kind of blew up.
Yeah.
I think he's going to try to like rush it tomorrow and like try to get to everybody before the eviction.
Right before.
And not give anybody a chance to like compare notes and like figure out that he's lying.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I don't know where he got like things like I don't like Vic or I don't trust Vic. Like I don't even talk to Vic.
Yeah, that's
Like
random.
game wise. So like those are things that he's tossing out that like I don't really appreciate.
That's a random jab, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's the things. Those are the things that I think he's going to try to do tomorrow. There's one of three options, really. I mean, like he just has given up at this point, and he's going to make this massive event at the eviction, like you just said. Two, he found something, which secret power veto, which is probably unlikely at this point. Or three, he's going to like rush it tomorrow because he hasn't been doing shit today, which is like really weird.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird.
Except lie in the room, so
It might be like a pity thing, just like sulk.
it could be just like new strategy.
Yeah, and then tomorrow you just like spit as many lies as you can, and then 2 hours until eviction.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
But no, we're solid.
All right.
Yeah.
I just want to check in, make sure we had the conversation
Yeah,
after
100%.
yesterday.
100%, bro.
Appreciate it, my dog.
Yes, sir.
All right, Holmes.
Yeah, man. PB 2.0.
Yes, sir. Which should be fucking hilarious.
with that. Everyone thinks it's a joke.
I know.